What is up guys, Anton here with Unbox PH where we take the awesome out of the box. And today titingnan natin ang POCO X4 GT. Now at first glance, it does look like all the other mid-range Android devices we've been getting this year. But believe me when I say that the POCO X4 GT is the best bang for your buck this 2022, especially since it's only coming in at 18,990 pesos. But before we get on with the rest of the video, please make sure to leave a like and to subscribe to the channel because your support means a lot to us here at Unbox. Now, let's first take a look at the design. Now, kitang-kita na it is very similar to all the other Android devices we've been getting this year with a polycarbonate back panel. The top railing features an IR blaster as well as a 3.5mm jack. So if you are a bit of an audiophile, kung gusto nyo gamitin yung wired headphones or earphones nyo, then this is a really good feature to have. On the right-hand side, doon natin makikita ang volume rockers as well as the power button. We have a clean left-hand side of the railing, and at the bottom, this is where we'll find the dual SIM tray. Sadly, wala siyang micro SD support, the USB-C port, as well as the bottom firing speaker. Now, just because it features a polycarbonate back panel, hindi ibig sabihin na pangit ang design ng phone na to. Like I said, we received a lot of different polycarbonate mid-range Android phones this year, and they all seem to have the same problem with a flexing back panel, pero hindi totoo yon with the POCO X4 GT, as the polycarbonate back panel seems quite rigid without flexing whatsoever. So that is really nice to see in terms of better build quality in a phone under 20,000 pesos. Now let's take a look at the display where we are getting a 6.6-inch Full HD Plus IPS LCD display at 144 Hz. Now we are getting a pretty good panel here for content consumption with HDR10 support, Dolby Vision, Widevine L1 support, as well as a peak brightness of 500 nits. Now I really wish we got an AMOLED screen here para pagdating sa content consumption, mas may enjoy mo ang content with richer colors and better contrasts. But I guess the IPS LCD display is good enough, especially since we are getting that 144 Hz refresh rate. Now let's move on to the cameras of this phone where we are getting a 64 megapixel main sensor, an 8 megapixel ultra wide, a 2 megapixel macro, as well as a 16 megapixel selfie camera. Now photos on this device is quite serviceable, especially when it comes to detail and sharpness, although you can expect that inconsistency that you'll get with the ultra wide and the main camera. When it comes to video recording naman, we are getting a pretty powerful chipset on this phone that we'll get onto a bit later, so that we are allowed to get 4K 30 FPS recording on this phone. Sadly, wala tayong OIS, so when you are taking video on this phone, it is best used with a tripod to get the best clarity out of the POCO X4 GT. Now let's take a look at the internals of the POCO X4 GT, where it really starts to shine because it does feature a pretty powerful chipset, especially for its price range. The 5nm MediaTek Dimensity 8100 can stand toe-to-toe with the more expensive Snapdragon 870 and 888, especially when it comes to gaming. We did try out Genshin Impact, Apex Legends Mobile, and Asphalt 9 at the highest possible settings, and we did get pretty great frame rates and stability, which was really surprising, especially from a phone coming under 20,000 pesos. Now, when it comes to memory, we are getting two variants of this phone, 128 gigs or 256 gigs of internal storage, both coming in with 8 gigabytes of RAM. And as for the battery, we are getting a 5080 milliamp hour cell here that does charge at a pretty quick 67 watts. From our testing at PC Mark, we did get up to 12 to 13 hours of screen on time with 144 Hz enabled. So that is a pretty big win for the POCO X4 GT in terms of battery life. Now, when it comes to software, this phone does come with MIUI 13 and Android 12 right out of the box. And MIUI 13 does allow us to get expandable RAM, adding additional 3 gigs of RAM for a total of 11 gigs of RAM on the POCO X4 GT. Now, software preference is completely subjective, but personally speaking, gustong-gusto ko ang MIUI ng POCO, making really good use of the blur effects all throughout the UI. And with a 144 Hz refresh rate, the MIUI 13 experience is incredibly smooth. So that is about it for the POCO X4 GT. It does look like every other mid-range Android device out there, but with the specs you are getting for this price range, it is an absolute steal. So before we go, please make sure to leave a comment down below what you guys think of this pretty awesome price to performance with the POCO X4 GT. And make sure to leave a like and to subscribe to the channel, as well as check out our other socials on Instagram and TikTok. Once again, my name is Anton, and I will see you guys next time.